What's going on, guys? WhiteFox1225 here. Today we're going to be talking about crafting in Elder Scrolls Online. So there's 5 crafting professions. There's the Provisioner, the Weaponsmith, Armorsmith, Enchanter, and Alchemist. So there's going to be skill lines for each profession, and you can only invest in 2 skill lines. So you can't be a Provisioner, Weaponsmith, Armorsmith, and Enchanter. You could only be 2 of those. So you could be Provisioner and Weaponsmith, or Weaponsmith and Armorsmith. And what this is going to do is going to increase trading among players and really help the economy in general. So I'm going to go one by one in each profession and tell you all the information you need to know about it. So the Provisioner is all about cooking. And this is something that has actually really surprised me, because cooking in other Elder Scrolls games has really served no purpose other than role-playing. But obviously, since it's a crafting profession and it's an MMO, it is going to have some benefit. So I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of buff like Alchemy is. What the difference is going to be, I'm not completely sure on. They haven't released any information on that, so I'm not even going to really try to speculate on it at all. So Alchemy is going to be a definitely familiar crafting profession to those who have played other Elder Scrolls games. And from what I can tell, it's going to probably work a lot like Alchemy did in other Elder Scrolls games, where you eat an ingredient and you tell sort of its magical properties by doing that, and then you combine like 2 materials to make a potion, with the 3rd one being optional. And one cool thing that Elder Scrolls Online is doing is that you can pick any material. If you guys have played other MMOs, you'll know that you sort of need like sometimes a rake or something, special equipment to pick certain materials. But in the Elder Scrolls Online, you can pick any material, which I like, because I always felt it was kind of stupid in MMOs that I couldn't just pick the flower that I was standing next to, that I needed like a rake to do it. It didn't really make sense, and I definitely am excited for Elder Scrolls Online to sort of change that. So onto the Weaponsmith. Weaponsmith and Armorsmith. I'm just going to combine these 2 just because they're kind of similar, and I don't really have any extra information on either one, so I'm just going to sort of group them together, but just know that they are a separate crafting profession from each other. So obviously Weaponsmith and Armorsmith, you're going to be making weapons and armor, and we're going to be seeing a lot of familiar armor and weapons types. Like, I know they said we'll see Ebony again. I'm sure we'll see a lot of the others. It'd be cool if they brought back Daedric, just because that was a fan favorite from Skyrim. And each sort of armor is going to have its own racial type. So, say I have iron armor and I'm a Khajiit, and say the guy next to me has iron armor on, but he's a wood elf. They're going to look different. All the 9 races are going to have different looking type of each armor. So like different looking ebony armor, different looking steel armor. Every type of armor is going to look different for each race, and that's really cool because it just adds more armors to the game. And it makes sense if you think about it, because like different people from different regions of Tamriel are going to have different looking armor, even though it's made out of the same material. So it's definitely something cool that they're adding, and it'll definitely help characters look more unique. So that's pretty much all I have for weapon and armor smithing, other than we will see familiar armors and weapons, and maybe even some new ones. That'd be cool, since, you know, it's a different time period. It'd be cool to give us other armor types. So on to Enchanter. This is probably the one that we have the least amount of information on, but obviously you'll be able to enchant weapons and armor just like in other Elder Scrolls games. Maybe even rings we could enchant, but they haven't really said anything about that, so I'm not exactly sure. But that would be cool, because that's something we have been able to do in other Elder Scrolls games. So they really haven't released that much information on this, but one thing I want to say is that the enchants look so much cooler in this game. You can probably see in the gameplay that the bow just looks awesome. The flames are actually coming off it, unlike Skyrim where it sort of just would glow red a little bit. So I definitely am a fan of that. I know it looked like that in other Elder Scrolls games, and I'm glad they're bringing that back. But that's pretty much all we have for enchanting, but obviously it'll work like other Elder Scrolls games, where you give a certain weapon or armor a certain buff, like maybe it does fire damage, or, you know, certain armor could resist fire damage or ice damage, and so it is useful. Personally, I plan on investing in the Provisioner and probably Alchemy, just because I'm sort of a fan of Alchemy, and I also kind of want to see what they do with the Provisioner, so I'd like to dive into that, so I think that's pretty cool. So thanks for watching, guys. That's pretty much the end of the video. I'll keep you up to date if there's any more crafting news coming out, and I'll definitely be posting more Elder Scrolls Online videos, maybe even some more this weekend. So make sure you subscribe if you're interested in more, and I will see you in the next one.